Success. Now, every week we talk about these qualities, and I always try to give you some pointers on friendliness. What does it take to be friendly? A good listener. What does it take to be a good listener? Each one of these qualities, if all I do is tell you how great they are, and I don't give you a way to develop those qualities, then I'm the same as somebody that knows them but doesn't do them. And so this curriculum is built as an active participant curriculum. If all you do is get to where you know what success is and you can define it and you can tell the stories, then you're very unsuccessful, and so am I. Because I didn't train you, I didn't teach you how to be successful. And that's the whole gist of this program, is for you not to have a head knowledge of success, but for you to have the backbone to go out and do it. Well, to go out and do it, you got to know how to do it. So I'm going to give you 4 things today that it takes to be successful. They're real simple. And you need to write them down. You need to read them. You need to study them. You need to think about them. You need to discuss them with your accountability partner or with your group. Number 1, you've got to learn how to cooperate and not compete. There are so many people, they don't want to cooperate with the teacher. They come to class and they say, let me see if you can teach me something. You ain't going to teach me nothing. I know it all already. I don't need to know math. I don't need to know any biology. I don't need to. You have so many people that they're not going to cooperate with the boss. They're going to compete. And they spend all their time competing, and what they don't realize is they're never going to win. See, when you compete with me as a coach, if you're an athlete, and you compete with me, we both lose. Both of us. If I tell you that we're going to blitz the B gap, and you say, I don't know about that blitz. I don't know about that. I'm not sure that's a good idea. Then we both lose. If you cooperate, we both win. So you have to learn to cooperate. I don't know who your boss is or who your supervisor is or your parents or your teachers or anything, but you got to learn to cooperate with them. The people that are unsuccessful are the people that spend their life competing. And their parents know nothing, and so they're constantly competing with them. And then they compete with the teacher, then they compete with the bosses, and they compete with the supervisors. You got to learn to cooperate. The number 2 things is you got to learn to commit. You have to learn the quality of commitment. You got to be willing to commit to doing something. Now, let me tell you the scary thing about commitment. There are so many people that get compliance confused with commitment. Just because you comply to something doesn't mean you're committed to it. There are so many Christians out there, they comply. Go to church every Sunday. That's compliance. That's not commitment. There are so many athletes. I go to practice every day. I am there for the entire 2 hours. That is compliance. I'm a student. I go to class every day. That's not commitment. That's compliance. You've got to do the extra. I've said it before, and I'll always say it. I've had some players that played football professionally, made a living at it. And none of them were compliant. They were all committed. I can remember having football players that Coach, can we stay about 15 more minutes after practice? I mean, they weren't there to be compliant. They were there to be committed. They had something they were going to get done, and they were going to get it done no matter how long it took. Coach, can you open the weight room? Teddy, it's Sunday. I know, but I need to get one more lift in. That's committed. If all you're doing is what's required of you, that's compliant. Do not confuse compliance with commitment. I go to church every Sunday. I am a definitely committed Christian. No, you're a compliant Christian. You're not committed. Committed means studying the Bible every day, developing a relationship with the Lord. There's a difference, a much bigger difference between commitment and compliant. And once you understand that part and you become committed to something, now you've got a chance to be successful. The third thing, you got to have hope for the future. You've got to really believe that if I do these things, that I will be successful. If there's hope in the future, there's power in the present. That hope in the future gives you the power in the present to do whatever is necessary so that you can deserve success. Hope builds endurance. When you hope to graduate, you build endurance. You can endure anything. You know, when you're in college and you hope to graduate, you endure hunger. You endure working 2 jobs. You endure all kinds of things. One of my brothers wanted so much to be a lawyer, and he was married and had a child, so he worked at 7-Eleven at night and had a paper route early in the morning before he went to law school. His hope was for the future, and that built the endurance for the present. Hope is 2 things, really. Hope is desire and expectancy. You have a great desire to do something. And if you don't have that great desire, if you don't have that great desire to win, there's no hope for the future. If you don't expect to win, there's no hope for the future. If you can't put the desire and the expectancy and build them into it, there is no hope. You cannot just say, oh, I sure hope we win. There has to be a great desire and a great expectancy, and then that gives you the power for the future, the power to do the things. You don't necessarily, you're not a NFL football player when you're 14 years old. You're not a successful businessman when you're 12 years old. You have hope for the future, which is desire and expectancy. And with that, you have the power to expect it. The 4th thing that you have to do is you got to keep on pumping. And I've said it before, when I was a boy, I had to pump water. And we had the sweetest, coldest water in the world, but it was the deepest water in McCurtain County. So you had to pump the hardest to get it. Well, you know what success is? It's the hardest thing you can do. Do you know what the easiest thing to do is? Failure. Let me ask you something. How much talent does it take to quit? How many of y'all out there can be quitters? How many of you can fail? I got a feeling that's 100%. How many people can be successful? The failures are the people that pump the hot sulfur water off the top of the ground. The successful people are the people that pump and pump and pump. You see, you're going to have detours. When the pilot gets in the plane and he's flying from point A to point B, and they come on the radio and they say there's bad weather up ahead of you. He doesn't turn around and go back. He takes a detour and he goes around the bad weather. You're going to have lots of detours in your life. And that's all they are. detours. It's just like the story of Castro and the blizzard we talked about before. There's lots of blizzards in your life. You just got to keep on pumping. You just keep on pumping. I'm going to get there. Yeah, it's like George Washington said, we're going to deserve success because we're going to keep on pumping. George Washington understood the point of keep on pumping. We're going to keep working. We're going to drill and we're going to drill and we're going to drill and we're going to deserve success. Well, if you're going to be successful, you're going to have to keep on pumping because the coldest, hardest, best water, healthiest water in the world is the deepest. And you got to pump, pump, pump to get there. And that's what success is. Success is that deep, cold water. Failure is the water right on top. Anybody can fail, anybody can quit. It's the winners that keep on pumping. And to be the best you that you can be, you got to do those 4 things. Cooperate, don't compete. Commit, don't comply. Have hope, build hope. And number 4, you got to keep on pumping to be the best you that you can be.